For our last one.
Hey, Dean. Dean is there.
There's Dean.
Hello.
Well, I do. But I can ask him at your office. I'll do it.
What's that?
You can write Gina down.
You organize this room before it's done.
Where you keep saying that?
Or like
Before you're done?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
back into retirement.
What about all those 4 more years signs we decided?
Right.
4 more years.
Oh, yeah, 1 more.
Build that.
We got word yesterday, there's gonna be. Like running.
I can't see it. Can you share who it is?
Yeah, me. That's what I thought.
Maybe he had, kind of
Nope.
falling the well.
Never gonna get it out of the system, never gonna get it out.
Nope. All right, 5:30. Rise to the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Use my back. I was just saying, I would like to rearrange the room so nobody's back is to.
I have a quick question about the microphone system. Did we upgrade that yet, or has Dave Toledo?
They said that it is a proprietary microphone. That is it right there.
Here.
And there's no way to add another one.
So we just
It
need
works
to,
with
we
the
need to
camera,
upgrade.
So we have to upgrade the camera and the mic system.
But I think it's worth it. I mean,
I heard it just fine when I had listened to Camp Plus.
The last time I was on it, it was okay.
But I feel like, since the fact, I mean, it seems like a lot of people have been complaining about it. I don't know a way to test.
Dean,
it.
give us feedback,
Can
okay?
you hear us okay, Dean?
Yes, you're a little bit garbled, but I can hear you fine. Yeah, I know at one point in time, the Development Commission did a study of it, and there should be some way to reorient the room. There's some kind of, and they were looking for more microphones, better microphones.
Yeah, I think it's worth asking Dave
Like
for
on
a
the
quote.
table.
Yeah,
Oh, you can sit like this.
yeah.
Make it all.
All right.
Sorry,
I think-
Okay.
We're working on that.
Yeah, I think Dave Janito did it, and he did it for the review board, but he was working on this one too, but it just one half of it got done.
Okay, approval of minutes from February 3rd and February 10th, as well as March 3rd and March 10th. I have a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Give second.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay.
Good. Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Yes, presentations, Dean, thank you very much for taking time out of your vacation to zoom in.
Jason, can you?
So as you know, we received Dean's letter of resignation, and I'd like to read it so that it's on public record, if that's okay with you, Dean. Supervisor Preston and North Elba Town Board, it's been an honor and a privilege to serve the North Elba Town Justice for the last 21 years. At this point, however, it's time to step aside. Please accept this letter of formal resignation effective May 1st, 2026. I appreciate the unwavering support of the town of North Elba. The town board has provided throughout my tenure, and thank you for your ensuing and seamless transition as a replacement justice comes on board. You will be in good hands. Since taking the bench in January of 2005, I have constantly tried to be worthy of the trust placed in me, the unwavering professionalism of all the people associated with the court, especially my long-serving clerks, Jen Myhill and Jen Hayes, made that task easier. I will always be grateful to them for their assistance and to the citizens of North Elba for providing this opportunity to serve. It has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. I also wish to take this opportunity to publicly thank my wife, The nature of the job requires the office holder to be available at all times. So the life of a judge is filled with late night phone calls, last minute schedule changes, and broken engagements. These inconveniences certainly affected both of us, and Mary was supportive and understanding whenever they occurred. Respectfully, Honorable Dean Dietrich. With that said, I'd like to read a resolution honoring the services of the Honorable Dean Dietrich upon his retirement. Whereas Dean has faithfully served the residents of the town of North Elba as justice for more than 21 years, whereas throughout his tenure on the bench, Judge Dietrich has demonstrated unwavering dedication to the fair and impartial administration of justice, upholding the rule of the law with integrity, professionalism, and respect for all who appeared before the court. And whereas Judge Dietrich's commitment to public service has strengthened the community's confidence in the judicial system and contributed significantly to the orderly and effective operation of the town courts. Whereas his years of service reflect a deep sense of civic responsibility and a lasting contribution to the residents of the town of North Elba. Whereas the town board wishes to recognize and express its sincere gratitude for Judge Dietrich, distinguished public service, and to extend best wishes upon his retirement. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of North Elba hereby honors Judge Dean Dietrich for his more than 21 years of dedicated service to the community and expresses his appreciation for his exemplary commitment to justice and public service. Be it further resolved that the town board extends its heartfelt congratulations and best wishes to Judge Dietrich for a long, healthy, and fulfilling retirement. It's adopted the 14th day of April 2026. Thank you very much, Dean, and we'll look forward to seeing you in person when you get back.
Thank you very much. Those are very kind words, and I reciprocate. I wish the very best to you. I know everybody just tries to do the best they can, and public service allows us to do a lot of good for a lot of people. And like I said, we just do the best we can, and I think we accomplish that goal more often than not. So thank you all for your service also.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dean.
Thanks, Dean. Thanks to Mary.
Get back to your family.
Yeah. Bye now.
Bye. Next up, leave committee recommendations. MJ? You want to come on up?
Do you want me to speak to them or answer questions? Have them, how did you want to do this?
Does anybody have any
I was
questions
gonna
on
say,
it?
that's what I would start
Yeah.
with. I mean, I'm looking at them, but
Yeah.
does anybody have any? I know, Jack, you hadn't gone through them all, that's all.
Yeah.
At our last meeting, not saying you had any questions, but you hadn't gone through them all. Does anybody have any?
I have a general question, but if you want to ask a specific question first.
Go for it.
My general question was that when we were in discussion of, like the funds as they were decreasing and they were being allocated other places, we came up with a number to assign to LEAP, thinking that the LEAP committee might tap into the reserve account. And so I was wondering if the committee did decide to do that.
So the committee decided not to tap into the reserve account at this time. Was the conversation that there might be yet another round that is not funded as we go through this project at the horse show grounds. So in hopes to continue the LEAF program alive, we decided to not tap into it this time because we may need it.
Which would be the fall of this year.
Correct.
Yeah. And so you were allocated $149.
$149 something.
Yep.
Okay. Just gonna look at this.
So they tapped into it a little bit, $885 into the reserve.
Oh, that's what that negative number is.
Yes.
Got it.
Yep.
I should say not. So I can just say that obviously with the decreased amount that Leaf has for the grants. We had a lot of conversation about being very specific about the impact and then making sure that it's community and you know, traveler focused. So there are certain things that had we had more money, we probably would have considered, but you know, we were very specific with the request this year. Some of the things we felt were surveys or data collections or you know, not close enough to completion. Some mailing, some maintenance things that we didn't, you know, consider being applicable at this time for league funding.
I remember, and now I thought of one other question. The library being a cooling center with the goal of the showgrounds being an emergency shelter too. But I'm assuming the thought process is that the showgrounds is, the long building would be off. You're all shaking your head.
Yeah.
For the balance of the June and July.
Yes, and also for those that don't have
Transportation.
and, you know, the library is an historical building and just to make sure that that's preserved and that it's accessible at all times to everybody, we thought was really important and it's a huge asset to Main Street. So that was a unanimous, let's support recommendation.
On a hot day in the summer, it is nice to go into the library.
Anyone who can encourage more people.
Yeah, and a big reason, like you said, you look at metropolitan areas and there's various spots. Like MJ said, if it's that bad and you've got somebody just on Main Street, they can't get or showgrounds or whatever.
Well, or if it's in, you know, in the middle, well, maybe not in June, July, but if it's in the middle of the show, then they can't go.
But either way, we need the library.
You can always wait for the trolley.
Yeah, okay.
So just for the purposes of the people that are here, you want to read down through, I can read down through who was supported.
Okay.
Okay. Bark Eater Trail Alliance, their ask was for 13,000, given 13,000. Course was for the trails upgrade to the Friends of Mount Pisgah for upgraded timing equipment for races. Their ask was 6,664. They were given 5,000. Homestead Development, their ask was 100,000 and recommended funding was 50,000. That's for the new development, the infrastructure. The public library that the discussion revolved around was for 49,900. Lake Placid and Vignetta, their ask was 16,800, and they were awarded 10,000. Lake Placid Horse Show Association, these were for bleachers at the horse show grounds, which also be used for community events. 25,000. Their ask given 25. Songs of Mirror Lake, ask was 25,000. 15 was given the contribution towards the 20th anniversary festival, which is a free event, day event. So the total funding was $149,000. Questions? I had opportunity to sit in on this round, and it was rather eye-opening. A lot of work that goes into the group goes through all of this. Anything else? Any questions? Sure. Okay. Be voting to these later underneath the resolutions and action items. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For your time.
Very good. Thank you. Have a nice
Thanks. Old business, I just wanted to update the Community Engagement Committee. I met with Ashley Wald and Pat Cassidy, just over the name that we had tossed around. They are in agreement. During that process, I did find that one of the candidates had put in the ski jumping complex, and what we're actually short on has not been held. So try to go through your people you know that might ski or luge or bobsled or skeleton.
That's what we're short.
That's
Short of November.
right. And Ashley and Chad and I were in agreement, and hopefully those around this table will be in agreement that even if we're short one, we'd like to go forward with the May meeting just to get the process started.
How are we, didn't the board put forth the appropriate number?
No one short. Or yeah. And outside of because of the identification, if you'd like, we can discuss that. Yeah. Park district assessment, it's only on there acknowledging that it's been completed and to give a thank you to you all and especially Emily for putting all the information together. We'll be moving forward with that as per the policy. So, new business, portable toilets. I received a request from Roost about signage. And last year, if you recall, we had 2 porta potties. Was that the correct term? Toilet, portable.
I say porta john.
Porta john. Porta jane. Whatever. It was at the Coppers Pond pull off, and then on River Road. And as Dick reminded me, the one on River Road is on private property, so they moved it to the monument on Route 86. So the question is, are we going to go ahead with those? The placement of those 2 porta potties. I checked with Jen Myhill, and the usage is about plus months. It's Memorial Day through Columbus weekend, and they're $165 each or $800 per unit for the entire time. So $1,600 for the 2. Any questions, concerns on these?
I want to go back to this stupid trash thing. Is this resolved about the trash?
Yeah, the park is looking it up.
Is that still acceptable to the district?
I
You know what I'm talking about?
haven't checked with them.
Good question.
The trash has to come out and then the boys can't pick up the trash.
So the park district can pick it. I know they
I
did
know,
on
I
the rail
know,
trail.
a few times, I know at least a few times he went out, at least Coppers Pond. And I believe they put I think they put a receptacle on. And it's more of a problem there than it is the monuments.
Right.
The one that Coppers Pond Trailhead is used tremendously more than monuments.
But it wasn't a
Coming down.
receptacle outside of.
I thought we put one at one time. It may have been not last year, the year before.
But I don't think we have to go that far unless people are actually, unless you said they have to dump it in the ground, but I don't want that. to happen.
Well, see, that's what they have to do. Because it's like, if you recall, I
Put the
equate,
receptacle.
yeah, I equate it with like Iron Man. If there's a sign for Iron Man, so it's they forward in the porta john.
I will check with Trent, Jeremy, one of the 2, and see if they're willing to drive by it.
I know at one
Take care of
time
the garbage.
they were doing at least that.
Are we gonna, like, are you asking, like, getting their feedback? Like, directing them to
Yeah.
do it and have a
Oh, yeah.
routine and checklist so that I'm sure it's consistent, okay.
It'll go on somebody's duty roster, just like the ones that the rail trail, 3 locations, trail, they take care of.
They also take care of the trash at those port.
Correct.
Not the port, obviously themselves.
Right.
So,
Anybody opposed to this? I don't think it's a formal vote. It's continuing on.
Did we determine, obviously, the reason for roofs bring that up was to determine whether their directions were correct or no.
Well, I think it was the bridge though.
No, there's something else besides that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
What I'm going to give them is the location,
Here they are, figure out where you want.
because it said the steel bridge, and that's no longer the case.
But maybe, I think maybe we should vote since we're spending. I don't know, budgeted for that, but it's just.
We can, here, we have a motion to, support the, support the two porta johns. Second? Jack, all in favor?
And my only discussion point would be that the park district is consulted if they.
Yes.
That they will pick up the trash on that.
Goes on task list. That's it.
Aye.
Yes. For my.
I can just help.
For this. Hey, come on up, baby.
I mean, can you go to birthday?
Nah. So in brief, due to the budget challenges at the Long Building, the plan is for us to take out, you can correct me anytime I stray, $4 million ban. And the idea behind the ban is to assist in paying off the $3 million ban that we currently have, because that comes due in August, I believe. So
Kind
Kind of.
not really.
right,
But
but
the reimbursements from the state will pay off that first $3 million, but because it takes so long to get the reimbursements back, we need to be able to keep going past that. Past that.
so, and then in the worst case scenario, we would turn that $4 million ban into a bond if it was required. We'll have 1 year from when we take the ban out to make that decision. And at this point, it's looked at as a 4%, I believe. And it would be a 15-year ask, which translates roughly to about $360,000 annually. And what's been tossed around out there, and of course, none of this is in stone until the time that the Longhouse is done. We know what we owe, how much we're getting back to the state and all those elements, is to use approximately $200,000 annually from the CTE funds, and that'll draw down the amount on the taxpayers to about $160,000 annually. CTE funds, we all know are in flux, depending on how much we bring in, but I don't see that changing the amount. I don't see it going down.
Do we have an average number of D funds received? Was it the last 3 years or so?
881,000.
It's in there, but I can pull you that tomorrow.
Yeah.
I would say it's never been less than 800.
Right.
Okay,
And
so
then if
the rolling average is above 800,000.
But we've generally given them that, so we.
Russ.
Those are 50%.
And as a side note, Craigwood Golf House is paid off in October. That was $50,000 debt, and the toboggan chute, which was a $30,000 debt, is paid off in September. So it's not a huge amount, but it's an $80,000 lowering of our debt.
Which is all within the same park district tax rate. Correct.
For my clarification, so the urgency where you're saying we need working capital to continue on with purchasing and so then the ban will help facilitate that, and when numbers become crystallized, late summer-ish, then you can start the process of burning it to a bond. Is that
That'll be next year.
2020.
It has to happen.
okay?
The $3 million ban comes due in August.
Okay,
We will not be fully reimbursed by the state
sure.
by that time.
So,
It's
mhm,
what each person's.
Okay.
So yes, will give us the work.
and then the thought process with C funds is that when that's the payment on the ban. Subsidize the payment of the ban.
With another
CT.
ban. Well,
That,
Oh, that's what the
No,
CT
no, no.
fund, or is that?
that would be
That's
bond.
that would be if it you need to turn bond, the CT funds would be part of that bond payment.
Okay, and you got a quote on for the 4%, the thought,
No,
No, I think we're gonna be a little bit less than that, but that's something that I can't exactly know what will be.
Yeah.
Because those rate fluctuates.
the other thing we did not give we didn't give anything to Leaf this past time
Mhm,
in light of this. So we have money in the CT fund, which we'll discuss at that time, how much we have in there, how much do we release of that towards, not bond,
Okay.
that amount.
so
We'll try
the,
to do everything we can, to keep that bond.
By the end of the year, we'll have a better.
Every year from the time you take out the ban, turn it into a.
Correct. Because it is a lengthy process.
The next ban. Whatever the date is. In August for the current ban, will it be from that date?
No, it'll be from whatever date it gets finished.
That's what I thought. Okay,
We hope.
so. Gotcha.
Any other questions I know to absorb? Be doing a resolution later on. Okay, thank you. Better to have you here and not need you. With that,
A bond resolution.
I didn't see that on this, actually. I didn't see that.
No, it's from the.
it's for
That's
the,
resolution of the ban.
it came in
It says.
this afternoon.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the one that's sent you.
So it should be introduction.
Yeah, it does say bond resolution.
yeah, it does. Bond. Bond.
So we can just change that language to a ban because it was August 12th. The ban was taken out.
I was gonna say August 18th, but it, the 12th, without.
Because this is the resolution is to
This is bond.
it's a new ban. Because it said it's in, when we passed it, in excess of $3 million long building, and this would be added to it. So it's an additional serial. And
Yeah, it's gonna be very hard.
Right.
And item.
But if it wasn't on, I was kind of, this was more of a explanation session, not effective for action, just before.
Yep. Next item is EMS stabilization program. Just wanted to give everybody either an update or information on this. The town has signed up for the EMS stabilization program carried out through Essex County. Basically, it's a matching, or I'm sorry, a 50% match up to $100,000 money that is given to EMS services. Currently, we have budgeted $41,806 to the Saranac Lake Rescue, which will take care of our section of North Elba, or their section of North Elba. And then we budgeted $69,000 for Lake Placid service. So once we distribute those funds, we'll be getting back a 50% match, which is $40,000.
And this is from occupancy tax on short-term.
Correct.
So it's, no,
Tax.
sales tax.
Sales tax, wrong.
Yeah, sales, I was gonna say. No.
Also, we're getting from the 41K, and you said the 69, we're getting how much?
40.
40.
For both of them.
That's for both, right? Let's see. Any questions on that?
I guess I was just gonna, is there any reason why we take advantage of that? Like,
Some counties have, some towns have.
why would they?
You have to meet certain regulations, such as 100% of calls. There's an ALS component, advanced life support component to it. Some just don't. They give to a different, like Crown Point might give to Port Henry, or Port Henry might give to Crown Point, type of thing. And so it has to be an ambulance district in your jurisdiction that you're giving to. It is sort of a brainer, but I think there were 3 towns that did not.
So,
And-
Emily, what you're saying is that if there's an option, then maybe now that we see that working, maybe that we increasing the budget, maximize the sort of 100% of the match.
Well, it's never gonna, the program is 50%.
50%, yeah.
So up to 100,000. So I see what you're saying. So the benefit to the EMS organization would be we up ours to $200,000 to get $100,000 back. Spend $100,000, but there does have to be controls to it, and Amy and I have not sat down and gone over those controls, such as budgetary. You know, if an agency has a positive bottom line at the end of the year, should we be increasing their bottom line?
Sure.
Taxpayer money.
So what I'm hearing is that there's going to be more thorough discussions with the locals in order to ensure that we can put some goals in.
And I would assume that they can be places that just like to make sure that the money is spent.
All that's required is that we show them a canceled check.
I
Okay.
didn't want to chuckle when you said that, but I'm like, I wanted to at least kind of give you the impression that it's like.
They're leaving it up to the towns to be
Okay.
do their diligence and that it's being spent properly. Rail trail. Jack and I met with Julia March 14th, 24th, I guess it was, and went over several things. Got updates for you that.
Updates for you.
Hey, good.
Great.
Win-win.
So we went over trash picking up, the trash pickup last year. Could we do that again? I met with Trent and his guys. They're fine with it. It's at 3 locations: Raybrook Road, Fowler's Crossing, and North Country Community College. Those are all bare now, right?
Yep.
Containers. So, plowing. For those of you who didn't know, North Elba was responsible for plowing Fowler's Crossing parking lot on Mondays and Tuesdays. Roll the dice. The village of Saranac Lake. So 2 days, and then St. Armand.
No, so the
Harrietstown.
did 1 day, DEC did days.
Okay. So then the DEC was responsible for snow. Let's see. The digital monitoring program, I'll let you talk about. We discussed flashing crossing signs at Ballard's Crossing. The DOT will permit those if the town requests and takes responsibility for the cost of those.
Wasn't this is old questions, but didn't the DOT say that they put something there last year? Because they had something the year before.
Not at Fowler. There's the flasher at Ricky Hill,
Yeah.
which has been purchased by the DEC. And they're waiting for it to arrive and they're gonna install it. And that has been a little bit delayed because when I came on May of last year, they said, yeah, we're gonna take care of that.
That's what I'm thinking, because I know that there was something they said they were going to do, or 2 years ago. They had the big. Sorry, top of the hill sitting, coming in that was taken down at that place. I thought that's where, I know that they said some location they were going to do it.
Yeah, remember there was the
I think it was.
little controversy between the county, DEC and DOT at Ricky Hill.
Yes.
And the DEC, DOT wanted the county to clear some trees, so for better visualization, and there was back and forth. That's all straight now. We received an email.
Wait, could you want to discuss this though?
Yeah, I'm
Like,
gonna get more into it.
okay.
Keith Carroll sent out an email. They spoke with Michael Hendry, his name, he's safety officer for Troop B about Fowler's Crossing. And state police are in agreement that additional signage at Fowler's because of ticket incidents in that area. They're interested in beacons just like the one that they're installing on Military Road by Boyer's Septic at the base of the hill, Raybrook side, and one 45-mile sign in Raybrook side.
So is it always flashing or is it like does it only come on if someone's coming? Because is it motion activated?
I have to say that I'm not 100% sure which unit it is. It might be a quick button activated one. That might be an always flashing one. I would have to double check as to which. So just so that it's clear to everybody, I think Keith was saying that the police would like the same unit at Fowler's as at Ricky Hill, but Department of Transportation, first of all, has said that they don't believe anything is necessary at Fowler's Crossing because they
want something to happen first, you know, which is great theory.
I don't know if they want something out, they feel,
They do.
they feel as though if it does happen, it's easier to.
It's the same with the red light on Sarah Avenue.
Yeah.
They want an accident, do it.
So so their survey data includes years where there was no rail trail, so they said there's no problem at that crossing. Of course, there's no problem at that crossing, but they are willing to consider, and this was a little bit more specificity with my follow-up with DOT. They're willing to consider something if the municipality will pay for it and it conforms to their own suite of what they consider as acceptable options. So I'm waiting to hear back from Region 1 DOT as to how to get the list of what they consider as acceptable options. So whether or not it's a beacon, whether or not the beacon identical to the beacon that's Ricky Hill may be something that's determined by the DOT rather than the municipality.
My discussion was just that I think that we should 100%. I think it's an accident waiting to happen, and they're waiting for it to happen. So anyway, but Fowler's Crossing is like, I mean, it's scary when you're trying to cross there.
Yes.
You're watching cars stopping to see if they're gonna go around cars. It doesn't feel safe.
And it's a flip of a coin about how upset the person is to wait.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Sensen, somebody that lives next to the crossing by Ricky Hill. It's not necessary, it's a super dangerous, and so is this crossing. I'm on that in Snowfield. One of the problems that I see, just witnessing for 7 what's going on, is people expecting traffic to stop. So trucks that are coming down Ricky Hill, great, you have a flashing sign, there's a trail coming up ahead. That truck may not be able to stop. People on the trail are still gonna cross because they're idiots. Snowmobiles are still gonna cross, oh, I can make it. Traffic's gonna stop. I think we need also, on top of that, signage on the trail. Vehicles may not stop, pay attention, or something to that effect.
What's the legal?
There are stop signs there.
So the sign,
Yes, there are stop signs there, however, if there's crosswalk and I'm walking, I expect to be able to walk just like by Main Street. But if the truck's not gonna stop because it physically can't, I'm gonna get hit.
so the signage on the trail says, first of all, it's a stop sign. Underneath it says cross traffic does not stop.
Okay.
So it's
I haven't
very,
seen
it's
that,
very
but-
specific at that location, and actually at every location on the rail trail.
Okay.
And that is the language that we're putting in on signage. And while it will, like 100% of this is true, right? Like the law is very specific that the pedestrian has the right of way. And that doesn't mean that vehicles will stop. And there is some question, and this was part of my conversation with DOT, is that they said, depending on the speed limit of the road, they might prefer not to have a crosswalk at all. Because they feel that the crosswalk encourages people to assume that the traffic will stop. It also provides liability for the DOT.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Whereas, like, I know to stop, and I know that, like, I would be in the right if I went, but I just don't want to go to the hospital. So I've seen other people be a little bit more assertive when they're trying to cross without being mindful of the
Cars
traffic.
actually stop and then literally behind them coming down that hill, because you're 45 miles an hour down that hill. People are coasting, they're doing 55 miles an hour. It's just the way it is. And some of these cars are not physically going to stop, and they go around the cars that are.
So Julia, I would say that as one person, I support the signage, but I would say that we should ask the village like to share the cost with us, because there's 2 municipalities dollars.
Any more on the lights? I would prefer active. Rather
I
than,
just think anything that shows there's pedestrians, bikers, there's anything that's demonstrating.
Julie, you want to discuss Gray Brook Road?
Sure. So as you all know, part of what Florida and the municipalities are trying to do is help get people from the rail trail to local businesses. So there's a porosity there between the trail and business districts. What we have been trying to do is work with the Department of Environmental Conservation on how we identify the preferred route. And it's been a little bit of a process back and forth. But right now, the DEC, while the DEC will listen to municipalities as to their preferred routes, they also have some of their own opinions about routes, and all of this is to say there are 2 ways to get people off the trail in Raybrook to the business. One is through the campground, and one is Old Raybrook. The DEC at this time is not supportive of going through the campground because they don't want people going through the campground and the campground. That may change in the future. There's some discussion about turning that campground into a snowmobile assembly area, which would then allow it to be used in the winter time as the preferred path. But at this time, Old Raybrook Road is the preferred route to get people from the rail trail to the businesses in Raybrook. So in order to do that, there will need to be navigational signs to get people, because once they exit the trail, first of all, they won't know to exit the trail there. Second of all, once they do exit the trail there, they won't know how to get where they're going. ARDA is working on that same kind of package of signage in for Village of Saranac Lake, Town of Tupper Lake. We're talking a little bit with Lake Placid, but basically we're helping design with Roost signs in various different locations that would show the trail, that would show a visitor how to get from where they are, where they want to be, and etiquette information. So at Raybrook Road, that would have to be opposite side of the street for the visibility and outside of the DEC right of way. So that's kind of where we're at with that. ARDA has some funds. A lot of what I do is grant writing in order to pay for things like signs. So we have some funds that we can apply towards this to help make sure that the municipalities have to bear the cost. So
I spoke with Haley 2 different occasions. She has found multiple safety ramps. You met Haley?
Yep.
If you took Old Raybrook Road, though, you'd have to travel on 86. Which is really not a preferred path for it.
no, I know, and I went out and I clocked distance. I have shared that and a variety of different concerns with the department. But at this time, that is where they are, and it's not their preferred route.
Yeah, I guess I would just be a little hesitant to invest in something that like we hope will change, and we will change that they'll end up. They can't so much more sense right there.
And there's a trail built already.
I think I did go through that. It's very.
It's right there. They go get ice cream and a
Yes.
burrito. I mean, it all makes sense.
Built like the operations crew built that trail specifically to get people from the rails to the campground. So I mean that again, like that is up to you as the municipality as to whether or not you want to have that signage. I have
What's the distance to get back to the businesses?
the total distance from, and Brook Road is no joke either, because there's very small shoulder to a state, right? So the total distance is about 1.5 miles to get rail trail to businesses, of which
They're traveling a narrow road that's then onto.
State highway.
yes. So options like number one are maps or business maps currently. We have one Raybrook business that's advertising business maps that might help get people on the trail businesses. There's the Boost app that might help get people from the rail trail to the Raybrook businesses.
So does it direct them where or does it direct?
So I haven't seen the Roost app. I can't answer the question.
Or you just figure it out yourself. In all, I think all trails use the campground, but that might just be because I did campground before, so I was like telling you back to it.
Yeah, and I mean, Arta's I'm your partner in this, so I will happily continue on behalf of the town to nudge the department. Obviously, you're the municipality, you have more clout than I do, but I deal with this all the time, and I'm dealing with it for 7 different municipalities, right? This is not the only.
Would it be advantageous not to do any of it and just let people go through the campground?
That's, I mean, that's also completely an option. And
Would that put Mark in a situation of just, hey, that's what the municipality declined to do the signage, just.
I mean, do we wanna direct people? Barbara wants to, do we wanna direct people onto 86?
that is,
Again, you were talking about an excellent way to
Everyone
have.
wants to.
I know,
that's what
I
the
know.
department.
Do we want to say, that we want people walking down over the road and then on to 86?
I don't know how comfortable.
I'm not.
We're talking about safety in one paragraph, and the next we're talking about throwing people out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if that, like, one possibility obviously is there's no signage whatsoever, and people figure it out on their own, and then we see what happens from there. There's I mean, the only potential drawback that I would see is if you hear pushback from your businesses there.
That means that there's not so much either.
And that's not, so. Arguably, that would not necessarily be your responsibility. Of course, the fact that the department has a signage package that will go into place sometime in the next 18 months.
So what will look for you and all of Florida being a partner in this, but sort of standing our ground as well. So if it's going to be detrimental to Florida, then we can discuss it further.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
that's fine. That makes sense to me. I don't love the idea of sending people on a place that isn't safe.
I'm more worried about going back. Go to the house. Yeah, you're on that side of the road, so you ride, but now you have to cross onto and then again on Old Raybrook Road, you have to cross, get back on the rail.
And the way, just add one little thing, it's not a big thing, but it is, some of the way that people, the intersection of 86 and Old Raybrook Road, the way people dart in Mapleville.
Or Maple Field.
Yes, coming out, because.
But
going onto the
I've
road
seen
and they go-
people disregard, they think it's just another driveway for Maplefield,
Yeah,
and they just dart right in, and I've seen cars from Raybrook Road, they didn't realize it's a road.
Do you have anything else?
I had a couple of, I wasn't sure if you have me under new business as well or presentation as well. I wasn't sure how much to, I'll give you a very quick, like, this is what I was working on. So I mentioned the signage, hoping to have, at the very least, we're hoping to have some of that temporary signage for the village of Saranac, hopefully in place this summer. We have a map coming out, so that'll be widely distributed. That's our 3D map. We have a grant from the state. It's a federal pass through. We're waiting to get all the things in line, but once that is line, we'll be able to install bike repair stations, and we'll be installing dog waste stations. Those were funded by Franklin County, so they're going to be Franklin County side of things. They're not super expensive. And dog waste stations on this side as well, but like right now, I have the funds to do that in Suffolk, Lake there, Lake.
dog waste is just like the dispenser bag, just.
Bag and a trash.
And a trash can.
But well, they're gonna be they're gonna be right next to the real trash. And so the thing about dog waste, there's a lot of studies out there on dog waste. I've read a bunch on like visitor behavior and dog waste. Most important thing is that people know where they can put the bags, so we don't wind up with bags of waste on the trail. So I am thinking through and working on the language that goes with it so that people understand, like, there's dog waste bag things and there's places to put the poop.
Okay.
So that's one grant. Working on with a donor installing AEDs. That's probably not going to be here this side of things. There's good coverage and there's good response time, medical rescue. So
That's the short one.
it's not such a long stress, but out at Floodwood, putting an AED is something that I'm working on, and that's really important.
Can you explain what that?
Sure. Sorry, it's an automatic external defibrillator.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
if somebody drops a heart attack,
Sure.
we actually had somebody drop on the trail who was rescued but not with an AED because the people with him started CPR immediately. And it was like amazing save. So that's something we're working on. We have a big federal grant for planning. I just released the RFP on that. That's for planning along the trail. For kind of things. The idea on this is you have a comprehensive plan that was just finished. The DEC has a unit management plan, the DEC has a historic preservation plan, the DEC has a plan, Sarah has a plan. None of these plans are fit together.
Also around.
Yeah, so the idea is to knit all of that together and then specifically to look for a couple of key things. One is connector trails on and off the trail. That's really important for communities. Another thing we're trying to determine is what percentage of trail users are local versus visitors. For local users, those connector trails are important. They're important for visitors as well, but for the locals, we're trying to do that. Second, amenities such as water bottle stations, bathrooms, things like that. Third is guidelines for the signage, so that there's consistency across the trails, across the municipalities on the trail. DEC, where is it DEC branded, where is it municipality branded, the handoff. Then fourth, there is maintenance that town North Elba is already doing, picking up trash, we're doing plowing. There is a cost associated with that. We want to figure out what the cost is for each of the municipalities who are doing that, what that cost is over the long term, and identify if there are ways to fund that. So that's the goal of that planning effort. And last but not least, we're doing an economic impact assessment.
Did you apply for a LEAF grant?
I did. It's okay. I noticed that you didn't fund us.
Go ahead.
Oh wait, is this about the reserve?
No, it's not about.
Oh,
That seems like a really good reason.
I'm a lead committee. So when that application came up, MJ indicated that project that Bruce would be interested in helping instead of leave.
That's fantastic.
You can work on that.
I
Okay.
already emailed MJ when she whispered to me, let's have a conversation. So
I asked her as well.
yeah,
Okay.
and I
Really wants you to swim.
I'm not here to make anybody score. It's really important information.
It's not really-
I'll say it's really important for us. I think it's really important for the rail trail. It's really important for the community to know like what is actually the impact of this. It's great to get it as a baseline now. I think it's really important to know what the community benefits are. In conversations with doctors, they're telling me like there's increased health benefit, there's increased exercise levels of our residents because of this trail. Like, there's all sorts of things that we can parse once we have some baseline data.
And that's once you have that, the information you can use for subsequent grants, or is it just more for issue campaigns?
No, this is gonna be for grants. So Franklin County is funding Franklin County side, and they are very explicit that they will use this so that they can expand the network. Looking up, so the next piece that they're looking at is the connector to the airport in Harrietstown. But the whole idea is to be able to network.
Okay.
So
Just the mileage that the trail counters got when that data came out was.
and you had asked me to say that, I will just say, I just looked at our trail counter data. In a 12-month period, I just picked a random like April 12th to April 12th. We have 164,000 passes by our 3 counters, but of the 3 counters, only one of those counters was in place all 12 months. That's the placid side of things, and you actually represent the smallest piece of the pie.
Sorry.
Just the counter.
The counter is past the intersection with Military Road. And the answer to why that let me see what I can parse for you from this. One, the Lake Placid data is a very clear like up and back pattern, just mostly is the 50-50. Our counters are directional, so they tell us what direction people are going. Mostly it looks like in Lake Placid, people park, they go, they come back. Saranac Lake, which is the biggest piece of the pie, but was missing our counts vandalized, so we missed about 3 months of data. That we see a 60-40 split. People are going one way and then leaving the trail and not coming back. So they're coming from Fowlers, they're heading towards Tupper Lake and returning the same way. Probably they're going downtown. And Tupper Lake, we installed the counter in late November, and not surprisingly, because we had pretty good traffic coming from Tupper Lake, and that also was surprising to me. There's a pretty good split, 50-50 split. So my hypothesis, without having more data, is that it was a very good snowmobile winter. Folks in Tupper Lake said it was a very good snowmobile winter, and that that corridor, which is critically it's a really big corridor, probably represents a fair amount of that traffic.
Are the counters timed? Summertime?
Absolutely. Yep. So yeah. So if you're a business and you're in this area and you want to know, like 11 to 2 is the time that rail trail users are going through, and they're on every single day of the week. There's no 0 days at all. Never, like, not 1 0 day, no matter how crap the weather. Yeah, in Lake Placid, it's a very clear, like 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock is this pattern.
We encounter a lot of people going through from really early in the morning, between 5 and 6, on their way to work. Either on that bike or no. And it's the same people we see every day.
And that's part of definitely part of the user base are people who are commuting, and that's something we'll get some more information on.
Great. Anything else?
One thing with just want to aside, I don't know if there's anything that due to the high automobile usage this winter, there's a lot of parking in the lot behind the firehouse here. And it seems to be causing some congestion. They're not parking at the beginning train station.
There isn't a good place to park a trailer with the trail out.
No. The point is, with the amount of snow we had this year, a lot of businesses and municipalities are dumping snow. And so there's no set way to park. And therefore, I'm just bringing this up. I don't know if there's any answers for it, but some people will pull in and block the municipalities and the individuals dumping the snow. the trucks, and there's not a lot of room. I don't have an answer.
but I do.
Okay.
If the snow field doesn't have enough trailer parking, just dumping the snow, you need an alternative snow field assembly area. And that snowmobile assembly area should be the Meadowbrook campground in Rayburn.
And overnight trailers that contact us and they want to drive from like us to Tucker Lake to Old Forge. They leave their trailers at our place overnight because it's a secure one. We have a lot of them that are trailers are parked 2 or 3 nights.
Anything else before we move on?
So Keith Caro is the forester who has their custody and control of the rail trail. Andra Ormond is the public education specialist who supports on the education stuff, and we're both Rob Daily.
I do want to say something about DEC and the snowmobiling thing. But almost every day that I've gone out, which is almost every day, I see DEC patrolling at somewhere up the trail. They're doing an amazing job keeping everybody safe. They really are. And I'm not a police type person, happy person. But DEC is really, they're great ambassadors for the trail. They're amazing ambassadors to the trail.
I don't have the numbers, but I know that the courts have made statements that they had a good winter.
They were
On the rail trail.
Yeah, I mean, they're just, I've stopped to talk to them. I got nailed one time for not having my sticker on my sled, and I actually had cheap sneakers on going after a tour. And the guys were laughing at me and like, just go. And I was doing well over the speed limit, but I was also doing this, and they realized what I was doing. They were trying to help me, So they're awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think everybody's got Rick has my contact, Jack has my contact info, but please do reach out. And thank you.
Great.
Thank you for being such a great partner.
Thank you.
Just update Beanie Construction. They called and said that they're going to step it up.
Hoping that one day, we're gonna not pay any.
He said
Is this the window?
this is the front, the core belling, the rental rebuilding of 4 windows. That's their circle. Yeah,
$1,000,000.
You have
36,000.
Better than.
That was signed last July. They had to stop due to staffing. They planned on finishing it. So I'm sure the cost could have gone up. But it's under contract, so. On the same note, we're working with the village to do some cost estimates on replacing the windows. Yes, the credits, the energy credits. We'll still have to pay to have them put in, but the energy credits will pay for the window. DEC visitors use plan. I have 126 pages of fascinating report here. If anybody is interested.
Go digital.
I do.
Send it to you.
I thought
We're here.
Mine has tabs on where to begin reading and where to end reading, as it has to do with North Elba. Basically, it's 6 project areas: Adirondack Lodge, Trailhead, South Meadows, Cascade Mountain, Upper Works, which is near Newcomb, Adirondack Mountain Reserve, which is past Clean Valley, and the Garden Trailhead. Obviously, the only ones that affect us are Adirondack Lodge, South Meadows. The Cascade talks about moving parking from on 73 to Openburg.
Didn't do that the entire summer.
Yes, during construction.
Yeah.
But that's,
trail.
that's going to be a permanent thing.
How many miles is to the?
It's flat, whatever it is.
it's not.
You, well,
They're out for a
I
hike.
understand that you probably got on bus going through,
I did.
yeah, so I think, I know that last 3 miles on that road is a pain, so a mile coming down is not fun.
I also cut off Allen 7 miles of that.
Yeah. So I don't wanna hear complain about it.
So South Meadows and Adirondack Lodge are our major inclusion here. What effect of, they're looking at managing visitor capacity by managing parking. It's one of the options. 180 parking spots. Just so happens there are 180 parking spots at Adirondack Lodge, which are controlled by Adirondack Mountain. It equates to about 400 visitors a day. The other,
And then they would not allow, because right now people just park up. Oh,
yeah, well, or actually, we have
no, on Lodge Road. If you could turn around park on the road on one side.
Right,
Yeah.
outside.
Anyhow, the other option is implementing a permitting system. Yeah, either way, they're asking for a partnership, institute and enforce roadside parking ban along Adirondack Lodge Road in its entirety, institute and enforce roadside parking ban on South Meadows Lane, which we already have done. So there is no parking on South Meadows. Well, we did that last year before. Yes, we did. Kenny had signs made up.
All the way up, I thought it was everything before the bridge.
On
You couldn't-
Adirondack Lodge Road?
No, South Meadows.
Adirondack, South
South
Meadows.
Meadows.
Yeah, Adirondack Lodge Road is from South Meadows to Adirondack.
Okay.
They're proposing is from 73. to Adirondack. Partnerships, they're looking at key partners. Parking management during peak hours, about 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Thursday through Sunday, June through October, having 4 team members.
But these would be state employees.
No,
They're looking at North Elba.
Can you tell me again on that?
We would have to like deputize
Yeah.
a car. That's insane.
And I think if my thoughts, which is sort of knee jerk, but we already have eliminated parking along South Meadows on both sides. Well, yes.
Okay.
Go look at the tickets that are written.
But we haven't know the park. Yeah, I thought it was a condition of the parking lot, but then we would shut down.
Mhm.
This road is already shut down.
Well, it's passable, but you can't park inside it. The Rangers will ticket you. The South Meadows little parking lot, South Meadows is still there.
Like 10 car.
Yeah.
parking lot, okay.
I would propose closing off South Meadows Road altogether.
Which we've already agreed to, as a condition that this parking lot is built. That's
Yeah,
not
that's-
You don't need the parking lot anymore.
Right.
That's the conversation because you already have your 180.
because they're trying to control how many people are in there.
You
but
already
they
have
don't
your
want the parking
180.
lot.
They don't want any more.
Right. So
That's really,
it is. It's
But they want, I mean, it's crazy, that's kind of crazy, because in the negotiation about Adirondack Lodge Road, they wanted this parking lot. Or overflow parking to get cars
Right.
off of the road.
when we met with them, actually, Julie was in her last week with Adirondack.
Yeah.
We met with the Rangers, DEC, Mountain Club, Ken, Derek, and I, and they kept talking about this parking lot. And I said, I thought you're at your max, which is 180 parking spots at Adirondack Lodge. Well, we are. Why do you want a new
It was
additional
100 lot. 100.
right at South Meadow?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not mentioned that I saw in this report.
But the agreement still exists.
I would certainly, if they want to control it by parking, you have no parking along the road. But having attendants there,
Well, they're looking at where, like AMR, they provide that.
That's an
lot.
I know that's an AMR.
Yeah. Northwood, but
I asked them a question about a mountain, they're like, what?
Yeah, well,
as a side note, they're asking Florida to have these 2 attendants for asking. I'll learn more when I get these thoughts. Just knowing that it's there. If you do read it, I appreciate your feedback.
So, Larry, so the changing the trailhead from 73 to Van Hovenberg, is it 2028?
Yes.
Okay, just clarification.
Yeah. That'll be a tough one.
But I do think people ultimately get used to that change, like things change and roads shut down and like different trailhead. And Cascade is already short enough. I really do, I think it was maybe added 2 miles, which is 4 miles round trip.
There's no buses.
Yeah, it's like it's a flat 4 miles and I've already checked that box, so I'm good, you
But I
know?
think they're gonna have to shut down the trail though, because in that, last week at our meeting, discussed, they're not going to shut down the parking lot or pitch off.
Right.
Or one on the left.
What are they gonna do, just cut a bunch of logs and put boulders?
They've done that, I've seen that, they'll tear it up, or they'll put the
The
spikes up.
spikes that are past, when you go all the way to all the way to 87.
They've got
You know,
those
the
up, they've got
spikes.
those. Chow. But what they do is, they just tear it up and seed it, either that way. But the point is, the one for pitch off will remain. And I don't know what they're gonna do for the trailhead.
Yeah.
They could theoretically just park there, walk up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, once over. Resolution action item, accepting leaf recommendations. Can I get a motion to accept the recommendations of the leaf committee distributing $149,000 previously identified organizations?
So moved.
Okay.
And all those states.
All in favor? So we have 4 yes, 1 abstention. Move in New York resolution. This is a resolution approving and endorsing the Essex County Land Bank in its application to New York State Homes Community Renewal for funding of Move in New York program, primarily for property located at 34 Brady Brook Avenue. They have a motion to accept this resolution.
So specifically, it was
Just
about,
motioning. Let's get a motion first.
So moved. So
Thank you. Jack, second. Discussion.
I have to go back to the document, but it was more specifically about cross program. Just
Yes.
which just for everyone, people don't know what a cross is, I couldn't explain it.
For those people who don't know,
Great discussion.
I have no idea.
But it's a Clayton Homes product, CrossMod is like a trademark.
Oh, okay.
And it's basically mobile home with a pitch to the roof.
I get by your tone, you don't.
I would say the jury's still out, and no one can answer any questions about them, so I don't know how to feel about them.
Okay, visible.
No, yeah, so
Animal.
it is not, because it passes HUD certifications to get your financing, and it receives building coverage for your life. Honestly, they look. Just saying.
Yeah, no, I get, you described it well.
We use this as a pilot. How about that? Any other discussion? Other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Next one is, we discussed at last week's meeting, this is a memorandum of intent between the town of North Elba and Lake Placid Olympic Museum. They're actually, I had one version in there, and at request, I put in the second version. Basically, they're identical, except item number 4 becomes 5. 4 reads that it shall not be relocated, removed, altered in placement, or transferred to another location in park without written approval of the town council of the town of Elba. Passed this by Glenn. He said, I don't think that needs to be in there, because this is just a memorandum of intent. It's with the main agreement that language could be in there, but he said if that's what needs to be, great.
Thank you.
In favor.
Thank you.
Has there been any discussion about whether just kind of presenting this to the public to get? I think that would be my only hang up. Everything about this agreement makes sense.
Yeah.
Because the town has not been the best steward of the torch. And they could be obviously an improvement, but
I know there's internal talk with museum folks as well as some external. And because this is just a memorandum of intent, if we get enough negative feedback, contrary to this, we don't have to go any further.
okay. So this would be just the first step to start to formalize it, a relationship.
This may actually,
Like a first.
and this may actually promote discussion.
Okay.
And
So
so
I guess
the reason I asked Rick about putting that extra in is so if, let's say, the museum is interested in it, they want to move it, we put this in, then they become not interested, that's fine.
Okay, so you're putting all the cards out on the table, saying if this is the deal that you,
Yeah.
and if they accept it, but then before we move into a formal MOU, is that what the ultimate would be?
Correct.
The end game, we would have some sort of communication with the public saying,
Right.
here's the conversations I've had, here's why, here's what they're willing to do, and here's the constraints.
It would be a formal resolution.
Yeah.
Okay, formal resolution.
As Jack said, this just to put it up, put our side down.
Okay.
And they can come back with, but we don't want to do that. Okay.
Okay, and then there's another step that the public
Yes.
will have an opportunity to come in.
Yes.
All right.
So may I have a motion to accept this memorandum of intent for the town of North Elba Olympic Museum?
So moved.
Thank you. Second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and I will say it for you that we will be pushing with that language. Okay, Mr. McKenna, I see you're on. I hear you're probably for the Eline property transfer.
Wait a long time.
Yes, thank you for your patience.
I just miss going to town board meetings.
You can still come, Jim.
Anytime. We were at this public hearing, correct? It was on March 4th where Jim and was there.
Big man, sorry.
I thought it was a fascinating discussion on this property.
Oh my God, Jim,
Very
thank you
educational.
for the historical lesson.
Yes. So it's where the review board accepted the request to reclassify the Eline Foundation lands as planned development district.
Technically, we do that.
Correct. But I mean, they have in their resolution, their recommendation. Prior to that, prior to taking action on this proposed local law, the board must comply with the terms of seeker. To do this, the board answers the 11 questions. We've been through these before. It's part 2 of the environmental assessment form as set forth in a one-page handout. It is assumed on this particular law regarding a code change only. The answers will be no, small impact. There is a resolution after I read these 11. You're familiar with them. Would you like?
I can read that.
It did, but it's.
Mark Shackner would say,
Yes, because
Small that font is, it doesn't matter.
what council had recommended just pass a resolution of that nature, but the more I read it, the more it says that we accepted these 11. And can you name them all? Can you name? No, I would feel more.
I'm ready.
Go ahead.
So the board answers either no or small impact or moderate to large. And so small impact is still the no. All right, number 1, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use code or zoning regulation? 2, will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land? Number 3, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? 4, will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? 5, will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walking?
No.
Number 6, will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy? 7, will the proposed action impact existing public-private water supplies, public-private wastewater treatment? 8, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
No.
9, will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna?
No.
10, will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. 11, will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or do we keep going? About to that information.
Sure.
So resolve that the board has reviewed the proposal for law number 2, 2026, and answered all questions in part 2 of the EAF as no or small impact, and on that basis, the board hereby makes a negative declaration in respect to said local law and state quality act. So there's the motion for that.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So that motion. With that said, you have in your possession a resolution approving the recommendations of the Village of Lake Placid Town of North Elba Review Board approving this land use change. May I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Okay. Next is Lake Placid Marathon and Half Marathon. I received a request from Greg Porzelleri requesting permission to hold the annual Lake Placid Marathon Half Marathon on Sunday, June 14th, 2026. There's no changes in the route or the schedule of events from last year's event. Any discussion on this? Okay, may I have a motion to accept or approve Lake Placid Marathon and Half Marathon on June 14th, 2026?
So second.
Thank you. All in favor? Is there any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Next is the review board open position based on the recommendations of the Code Enforcement Department. May I have a motion? Can you help here? Bella. Abadesses, yeah. To the vacant position of zoning board with the term expiring at the end of 2028. Motion, please. Thank you. Second?
Yeah.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Zoning Board of Appeals open position based on the recommendation of the Code Enforcement Department. May I have a motion to appoint Molly Smith, vacant position, Zoning Board of Appeals, with a term expiring at the end of 2026. Thank you. Second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Anthony Dawson.
What's that?
Uniform.
That is not ready.
Okay.
Sorry.
I see Anthony Dawson. That was a nice one.
No, he submitted his name, but they also recommended that.
Oh, I
So
need your glasses, yes.
So final is approving the naming 6 roads at the peaks. Essex County E911 and our Justin Roy request. Fire department have approved the naming of 6 private roads within the peaks project. Specifically, they consist of Peaks Ridge Way, Southern Range Way, East View Place Way, Gothics Place Way, Hillside Trailway, and Summit View Way.
So they don't have to comply with anything.
They're private roads.
Well, they can comply with private road.
Yeah, but I mean, they don't have to.
There's
Private roads, something like a way, can't be a.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
yeah, they're width requirements, etc.
You meant about the name.
Yeah. May I have a motion to accept these 6 private road names? You, second. Any discussion? I asked that question. All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes. I spoke with Amy about this resolution. And she said it's time sensitive, but I'm not comfortable putting this forth with the
Resolution.
bond resolution, sorry,
Well, it's a
or ban. But it's very confusing. And the individual who wrote this up might have been misled on what's going on.
It's
I
funny.
will, to clarify though, I think that we were supposed we're supposed to be presenting it to the public as a bond for like the full disclosure of the fact that it could very well turn into a bond.
Right.
Because if we say ban, then we're being disingenuous, we're not saying that ban is very.
Correct. 1 year.
I do think the resolution should read bond.
Okay.
Not saying we vote on it tonight, I'm just saying that I do think it should say, I think it should be calling it a
Bond.
resolution because.
It's a bond resolution.
Words don't have an
But
acronym.
we
Just
can
call
turn
it
it into
bond
a ban.
interest.
No, that's different.
That's a ban.
That's a
Is that
ban.
what that is?
So that's for the confusion. I
So
have
regularly,
the reference.
if we, a bond, we put that resolution bond, and we turn it into a ban.
We wouldn't go to reverse, you just pull out the bond.
It says it's a principal amount not to exceed 4 million, so that sets your ceiling. But
I will look into it because I think the ban, it should be as a ban, but then at the explanation, which the public would be the plan to turn it into a bond. That's
Correct.
happened many times.
because what bond has to go through a series of advertisement in the newspaper, 30-day comment period. And
But I thought that we were gonna do that process.
I have to do that.
Yeah, not that.
But that's
we haven't
for-
done it yet.
right,
If you do.
but I guess my confusion is there's nowhere in here that we're accepting a ban. That's the thing.
Right.
It's
In
just
the first.
correct.
Right.
So I'll look for clarity.
Okay.
If it's so time sensitive, we'll have a 10-minute.
I mean, what, it's a referendum.
Correct. Well, that's the whole thing. It
You
could
have to
be.
put it on the.
Right.
Yeah. But I think that the time sensitive nature is to start that window to get the opportunity to do the referendum to get on the ballot.
Exactly. So, but I again, without this to death, I just, whereas pursuant to a bond resolution dated August 12th, 2025, wasn't a bond resolution, was it?
No, but that was a ban.
Right. And so,
But was it a bond, position we did, just saying,
For
because
that,
that's what they're saying to do now.
so.
That's
So
what,
that's
why
it's gonna
I'm
be part of
confused.
this reimbursement.
I'll look it up.
yes,
That's the thing, it's used to, you know, we do, I don't know.
Now we went to bond.
No,
Fine.
So I'll get clarity. Personnel, that you've had a personnel, sheet in there, they're all black fly. There was one scratch. Were you in on the email from John? He lost one of the gals that just started. She didn't realize it was going to be that much work.
You'd be walking outside.
Yes, she's walking up and down mountains.
The month's still in different weather.
So we'll have somebody coming up with personnel next month.
Mhm.
He was able to get an ex-employee Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So they'll be able to cover for her area. So I noticed they're on Mount Whitney Road today. So any committee reports?
We have to approve that.
Thank you. I have a, we can do accept the personnel. Second. Discussion, all in favor? Aye, opposed. Committee reports.
So I wanted to discuss cannabis. I feel this is already a lot, but few things to bring up was that we did get a payment, which was good because we hadn't gotten a payment time, or we had a very small payment long time. And so we got $13,000 in March. And that reflected payments through like say November, something like that. So it had nothing to do with the store that has opened all and so then Haley Nick and I met to discuss kind of the open, like the right now on the webpage it says that can't application because we ran funding. So we met to just ending application, but we thought we should reopen that grant application. And we decided to hold off on it because we wanted to check back in with the ones we have pending are the school district had asked for money to native planting on the retaining wall. So we wanted to check back in with correct? Yes. Correct. We had a fun.
No, we did not.
Thinking.
So we want to check back in with the school to see if they have found a way to fund that. It's something we're interested in, environmental club. And then there was a robotics club one, but they wanted to hold their application until next fall, so we didn't have to think about that one.
That had already passed competition.
Yeah, so they said just like wait until, and I said tell them to resubmit because we're gonna forget about things, like resubmit when it's time.
And there was some issues with stuff, and so the impact that it had on the robotics, it definitely gave them an opportunity to stay there overnight. A little bit more embrace the competition as opposed to coming.
Yeah, I think we got good feedback.
Yes.
Who is the advisor for that?
All cars.
Yeah, I think he sent some good feedback. Like it was something that they were able to do before and staying overnight. And so they were able to experience.
That's important. I
Confident.
think staying overnight, part of the whole,
Yeah.
unless it's in San.
E-town.
That's
Okay, so, and then the other one is Shipping Center and our last like feedback to Shipping Center. Because they had asked for money for assistance in the purchase of the building. And we just said to them, we're happy to come in, but we would like to come in near the end when others are closer. And we have not come back to say that they are closer to the end. So we don't necessarily feel like we need to hold money for that, but we're not ready to pay out Shipping Center. We're gonna check back in with the school about retaining. I do think that was a fall project, but maybe it's a spring project. Anyway, so
No, I think it was,
it makes
I think
sense. It was.
I think it's a spring project, but we don't. Like
If they've already done.
done. If they even change their mind to do something else.
Has there been any update? I know there was some flurry of discussion. It's kind of
We got
slow moved.
very,
Okay.
they gave a presentation at their goals.
Um,
Were you there? Shouldn't? They just mentioned that the goals that they purchased.
That they purchased it. So they didn't reach back out for help. Well, we wouldn't have had money at the time anyway, so.
We don't, okay.
You know, we're talking 50 some odd thousand, so our 6, or what's next?
We said we commit to 5. So if that's the case, then maybe we will reopen the application process.
Yeah, because that's the thing, because right now, yeah, I would.
Maybe we'll get an update on retaining environmental.
I mean, depending on the members, and if we can fund something, it'd be great if it's justified, at least something. Or more funds.
And then the other part of the discussion that Jason and I were having, which everyone kind of heard at the beginning, was just that the not knowing where when the money is coming, how much it's coming, and not that you would ever know how much, but like a receipt of some sort to say, you know, and what is the name?
Don't come.
I mean, it's not as catchy as Mellow, guys.
But like if you forgot that one, I might go around.
But I do have, you didn't, I talked to Mike Mascarenas and he's checking it out.
Oh, because we also have an email from Art, from the mayor, for the 50%.
The village.
But so I'm going to ask Mike to please have like Diskin give us a receipt of some sort. Here's how much we received.
From each, because that would be 1.5% of like, they just pool money.
Correct.
The village may think that they have. Whatever.
And you,
And they're
Claim that.
I'm assuming now you're gonna have to, in some, and I don't know if it needs to be, or in what way, we let the county know that now there's a village, a new village, that's going to get half of.
From what I understand, it's automatic.
I was gonna say that.
It's 50-50.
No, but like how does so the treasurer's office is gonna see this money come in and they're gonna recognize that it's like in the village of Lake Placid? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are they gonna know?
That's the confusion.
Well, they do it the Cernak Lake, they seem
Right.
to be doing it easily, so easily,
Yeah.
but.
When you get more than one dispensary in your town, then the money is pooled. But to me, there has to be some sort of reconciliation that comes with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they track it with the point of sale system and see to something else.
Yeah.
Chat set, so they're very thorough
I'm
about
sure
it.
it's being tracked.
So-
Yeah.
It's like, how does it get from very precise mathematical to get to the county? It's like, it's almost like they're opening their drawer in their house and pulling out cash.
So it's finance committee next Monday. So there'll be a time to bring it up. Because I'm lack confidence in just, we received a check and here's your money.
Which just seems to be how it's been going. But with the opening of Malamoose, I do think that it's time to reopen because we're gonna have money coming.
Yeah, it would be whatever, yeah.
And it would benefit the village too, since they are partners that your conversations with the county, that you confirm that they're aware of Lake Placid and that there is a process. So if we go through that, then we don't have the village chasing us.
The village wants to partner with our existing program.
That'd be nice.
There's some discussion about a program, not necessarily that specific, but funding other things like merely watershed and those reoccurring things that,
The community ones.
right. So any other committee? Audits, may I have a motion to approve the audits, their budget amendment.
Like,
What's that?
budget adjustments off.
Well, I never know if there is.
Oh.
But there,
Came in on Monday. Well, one came in on Friday. Oh, one back.
can I get a motion to approve? Please,
So moved.
you second,
Uh,
all in favor, discussion, thank you. What do you have?
Yeah.
I don't like the tone of that.
I'm back to the U-Haul.
Yes.
Now, I've been reading the land use code. Purpose of the code is to promote the health, safety, and general welfare of the community. Wow. By cooperation among congenial people, a beautiful natural surroundings, all the advantages of an ideal place to reside and recreate. With a world reputation, some beautiful natural surroundings and people. The overall goal is to protect and enhance both the community and its natural surroundings. Comprehensive plan recognizes that we are due appropriate to the community, that the needs of the residents and our visitors are equally important. That is the general purpose of the land use code, as I'm sure everybody knows. Now, Old Military Road, most of it is the Old Military Road corridor. There's a certain little section, which is the Gateway Corridor, which is where Hall is, Gateway Corridor. The entire road, Old Military Road, is in the viewshed overlay district. All properties fully or partially within the areas designated as areas of visual sensitivity. All properties, all of this includes all elevations above 2,000 feet. So they are specifically saying this corridor, this section is visually sensitive. Now, obviously, the lights at the U-Haul are an issue. We all know that. Drive by there, whatever time of night, it's an issue. It is directly against numerous places in the land use code that these lights should not be like this. My question is, how do we enforce it?
That's the question. It always is.
Ways to enforce it.
That was a rhetorical question.
Yeah, and this is where the issue. Administrative stop orders, injunctive actions, criminal penalties, and revocation of permits. Well, this only falls under criminal penalties because it's already there. Now, I brought this up at the village meeting. We were talking about not only this crap with U-Haul, but other things also. And Janet Bliss, we all know is the village attorney, literally said the DA won't enforce local laws. How do we enforce this? So in other words, not only the U-Haul, which is my bane of my existence, how are you going to enforce
Every single thing in the land use
for
code,
the marriage?
every single thing.
Every single thing.
We agree.
That's huge. So we need to do something and make an example out of somebody to show everybody else, yes, we are doing something for this.
Perfect example is that flag that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the only thing
Yeah.
that's in play right now is the flag.
And that's been 9 months.
50,000 in legal fees later.
If we need the fire department to dim their lights as an emergency service building,
Yeah.
but across the street, you can't get the U-Haul turn off their lights at 10 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock. You have to turn off the music at what, 8:30, 9 o'clock, something like that.
So what my
But we
last
can enforce it.
feeling, Darcy, was they were going to speak either directly or through certified mail with just Peacock.
Matt Devlin has been talking to Mrs. Peacock since October.
Yeah.
And he calls, oh, we're gonna try this, and he'll call a month later, oh, we're gonna try that. It's lip service.
So
She's not
if I may
gonna do
finish.
anything.
I think what he's saying is the official channel.
Correct. And then, so they'll be given a time limit to do something.
I'm past the point of even having a motion, because I want them gone.
Well, I don't think motion detectors, and I think you have them up, you shut them off at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that's my attitude. I mean, I just showed you the picture at 1:30 in the
Yeah.
morning. On Saturday.
So, we can threaten, we can do everything, but very difficult to impose or collect fines. But
I think maybe if we started sending in notices saying you're gonna get fined such and such per day that the violation, maybe she'll wake up and smell the roses. We all don't have to
authority.
publish
We don't,
that we're
right.
doing this,
We don't have authority to,
according to this, you do?
according to attorneys, we don't. So.
Well, then why is it in the land use? I mean, I'm not trying to be
I don't know why
I'm
either.
just. It's like we had this big hullabaloo about the whole special events thing. We can't enforce it. And I'm tiptoeing around trying to do everything by law. You know, whenever we do something on the property, it's like, when we had our building built for the garage, I literally, building inspector come over and measure and say, yes, this is okay. You know, and then we have these people down the road that do whatever they want. I just wasted.
It makes the situation much more exasperating, because you put
You
the
have no
effort in,
idea.
putting the effort in to do it, but then just blatantly disregards it.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I'm squeaky clean, nobody in this room is squeaky clean. However, we at least made the attempt to do it right. These people don't even care.
so I'm continuing to lean on the code enforcement office. And get updates at least 2-3 times a week.
It's like I gotta plant my backside in the code enforcement office.
Well, let's give it a try.
Sure.
Give it a
I
try.
mean, that's not, I have other things to do, but you know.
Maybe they get sick of seeing it.
I'm sure like you guys care about the same thing,
Yeah.
you know, month after month. Like, I don't wanna be complaining about this month after month.
No.
And it's not just me, I have the authority to speak for Ian and Angela. Matt Devlin, New Devlin, who took over Matt's father's place at the end of the road. I mean, they can't even have their curtains open at night, literally shining into their entire front of their house. In the back of the Woods house, it's from here to the road away.
And not to bring up another sort of, the horn stuff. There we go.
So we have one good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that there was a legal issue
Oh,
involved besides the horn.
okay.
So
I didn't want to
we will just step up our efforts and.
Yeah, I mean, it really just lean on whoever needs to be leaned on. I would really, yeah, it's been 5 months for God's sakes. And summer's coming, sure, the windows are gonna be open for all of our houses.
Anything else, or you all set?
No, I'm pretty sure.
Just a reminder, there's a public hearing on May 6th at 5:30. It's a review board and town board joint homestead development. So please mark your calendars.
What time was it?
5:30 upstairs.
Second floor, third floor?
Third floor. I will need 5 minutes of your time for an executive session for a discussion of a potential legal matter.
On the 6th?
Now, next item.
I was gonna say there wasn't a segue there.
Hopefully the legal matter will have something to do with you.
So may I have a motion to enter into executive session? Thank you.
Good night, all.
Thank you. Thanks for your patience. And I mean that sincerely.
Uh-huh.